We are in West Texas along the Rio Grande at the Sun Bowl in El Paso. After an epic event last night, there is a new series leader, and only 7 points separate our top 2 competitors. It's been Neil Elliott and Max D and Adam Anderson and Gravedigger putting everyone in their rearview mirror. Can someone step out of the shadows and be the David to their Goliath, or will it be a clash of 2 titans in Texas? We're back in the Lone Star State. This is Stadium Championship Series 2, and this is Monster Jam. Welcome to Monster Jam. I'm your host, Scott Jordan, alongside Gravediggers Morgan Kane and Leslie Mears. And today it's Stadium Championship Series 2 in El Paso. And this series has had to endure a lot of different variables when it comes to weather and track conditions. In fact, last time we saw them was in the Mud Bowl in Anaheim. Today it's all about the sun. The track is loose. Should make for an exciting Monster Jam event.
There's also a lot of behind-the-scenes action that goes on with this Monster Jam tour. They have 2 shows every weekend, and the mental and physical demands of the crew and the drivers, it's intense.
Let's send it down to Leslie Mears.
Drivers really put their trucks through the ringer on day 1 of competition here in El Paso as the points race reaches the home stretch with only 4 events remaining here on Stadium Championship Series 2. 7 trucks missed various competitions and 9 trucks suffered major mechanical damage. Gravedigger endured the most damage, demolishing a 3rd member and 2 planetaries, but the real agony for the team came from losing the points lead. Adam Anderson came into the weekend 5 points ahead, but now finds himself 7 points behind Neil Elliott, whose consistency earned him his 4th racing, 7th 2-wheel skill, and 3rd overall event wins. With an automatic bid to Monster Jam World Finals on the line, it's going to take executing strategies and that consistency to earn those much-needed points.
We've talked about that rivalry here before between Neil and Adam, and right now things are starting to fall into place for Neil Elliott and Max D. Neil Elliott has 352 points. He stands at the top of Stadium Championship Series 2.
With the way that the season's been going, it's been such a good battle of 1 and 2. I just can't wait to see this lineup really compete here, especially during the daytime. It's going to be exciting.
And we're going to start it off with Monster Jam Freestyle. This is Zombie Fire and Paul Strong out of Malacca, Minnesota. So Paul is one of the only athletes on this series that is yet to win a competition. So he's trying to get that monkey off of his back. And a great start would be right here in Freestyle in the Sun Bowl.
Well, with Paul being such a veteran of the sport, it's just so nice for him to come out and set the bar. I mean, he does such a great job in that zombie truck. I mean, he really fits that personality to be able to get the fans on their feet. His loud pedal is always consistent, and he's running as fast as he can around this track.
With that freestyle criteria, the one we don't see a whole lot of lately because of all the big tricks that are being done is that completion of a time run. How important is using the full clock in a freestyle run?
That's absolutely crucial. I mean, because we talk about setting the bar. The fans want to see some crazy, out-of-the-box tricks, but at the same time, you got to give them their money's worth. You have to make sure you're filling the time and putting that full run on the line.
Paul Strong trying to make something happen in Zombie Fire. Zombie Nation, a very strong force when it comes to Monster Jam, one of the more popular Monster Jam trucks in all of the sport. And there's a nice jump for Paul Strong in that zombie truck. Gets a good bounce at the end and now heading to the other side of the track.
It's just some good stuff, He's going up and going faster every jump that he's going towards, and with the time ticking, he's got to make sure that he gives the fans something crazy.
You got to be able to put together a series of jumps. Try for a bicycle there, didn't get it. Now plotting his next move, Paul Strong in Zombie Fire. Going to go down now to the left side of the track, trying to get another jump going. Up over he goes on the freestyle pad, gets some nice air, and then back down on the 4 tires. So Paul Strong, Zombie Fire now looking for a donut to get the crowd on their feet here in Texas.
Gives him a little bit of everything. It's great. He has a lot of options in this course to be able to go around and hit different jumps, and he's doing pretty well. I like it. I mean, it's first out of the gate, and I think the fans are going to be happy with the end of this run.
If you're first out of the gate, you have to set the tone. This is what the night is all about, the main event. And Zombie Fire, there he goes, clearing the freestyle, just gets the back tires stuck on that car, but almost made the entire jump. And that's the kind of stuff you're looking for if you're Paul Strong in that Zombie Fire. Another good jump for Paul Strong as he lands it nice.
I'm noticing a little bit of smoke coming from that truck. I'm not sure if maybe that's like a transmission or maybe like a little bit of oil leak, but he's done a great job with this run. I mean, he's putting up, a 6.312, and it's been great to be able to see him come out and be so consistent around the track.
Didn't do anything too spectacular, but a solid run for Paul Strong. Here we go with Diesel Dave in Bro Dozer, the famous Diesel brothers on the Discovery Channel, also owners of Diesel Cellars in Woods Cross, Utah, and what a mark they have made in the sport of Monster Jam.
Absolutely, man. This is so cool to be able to witness all of this action because, I mean, this has been the talk of the season, a diesel monster truck coming into the world of Monster Jam and the pure power that these monster trucks make. It's amazing to be able to see, the diesel world get so involved, and the Diesel brothers have been doing a great job.
And a great jump for Diesel Dave, and he's going to try to bicycle and gets a little bit of extension, not a whole lot, but still a solid move coming off of that jump. And if you can put two together, that's what the fans want to see. That is what makes a good freestyle run.
For sure, man. With the time that he's got on the clock, it's nice that he is starting to get huge air early like that, man. Ooh, that was a hard hit on the front end, though.
And he slaps it down, gets on the back two tires, and now back up over that freestyle ramp. Diesel Dave has one freestyle win on the year, Heavy D with another, so two freestyle victories on this series for the Bro Dozer Monster Jam truck, and a sky wheelie for Diesel Dave.
Coming from inside the cab as a driver, a hit like that one that he just took, it kind of throws you for a loop a little bit. You got to get your bearings back together, and I think that's what these couple sky wheelies are all about. But it looks like he's got a broke tie rod in the rear end, so that's an unfortunate break, but it's mechanical and it happens.
And this year in Monster Jam World Finals, a high jump champion will be crowned, and Diesel Dave putting his name in that hat. Here you can look at some of the jumps and the bicycle for Diesel Dave in Bro Dozer, clearing the pad with some huge air, slaps it down on the back two tires and gets back up and over.
So what was it like for you to hear the crowd roar and to know that you took the lead, early on in the freestyle competition?
There is nothing cooler than when your truck comes to stop and the silence that you had in your helmet just erupts into a crowd that's just cheering, just on their feet, chanting. And then you see the yellow light flash across the board and it's like, new leader! That feeling you get, man, there's nothing better than that.
Diesel Dave with a great freestyle run. Coming up next, it's America's Best Contacts and Eyeglasses Racing Recap from Sun Bowl Stadium in El Paso. This portion of Monster Jam is brought to you by America's Best Contacts and Eyeglasses. It's not just a better deal, it's America's best. We are back with Stadium Championship Series 2 in El Paso, Texas. Sun Bowl Stadium tonight, the home of Monster Jam action. And this is the America's Best Contacts and Eyeglasses Racing Recap. And we're going to start with Adam Anderson in Gravedigger against Kelvin Raymer in Time Flies. And Adam has never lost a race to Kelvin Raymer.
So one of the things as a driver I'd like to point out here in El Paso is that it's a daytime show. You might get the glare from the windshield, but that doesn't affect Adam Anderson. He's got these cool sunglasses on, and he rolls to the finish line as fast as he can.
And there's a reason they call it the Sun Bowl. You see the glittering shadow in the stadium, a lot of sun, but Adam Anderson so smooth around the turn, and Kelvin Raymer going to hit the tire. That is going to be a penalty, but it didn't matter anyway. Gravedigger moving on.
The one other thing that you would like to point out here is that, it is windy, there's a lot of sun, it dries the track out, and it makes for slippery conditions. For Adam, it looks like he's handling business now. He knows that he's got to hold it tight to the corners and just get in and get out as fast as you can.
Adam Anderson 3-1 against Eric Swanson this year, but the loss did come in the racing finals in Oakland. Not worried about that now. Adam Anderson again moving on. Here we go in semi-final action. It is Adam Anderson in Gravedigger against Scott Buteau. El Toro Loco Ice 12-1 against Buteau Lifetime. Some mind-blowing numbers when it comes to racing each other.
This is a good race too. It's neck and neck, but Adam just got that Gravedigger power and pulls away from it.
Adam Anderson doing what he does best, getting to the racing final. And here he's going to line up in the racing final with Max D, Neil Elliott. These two have gone at it so many times throughout their career. And again in this year, Adam Anderson so tight on the turn, but Neil Elliott even better on the other side of the track, the final turn, and they are neck and neck and accelerating to the finish line. It was Adam Anderson and Gravedigger taking the America's Best Contacts and Eyeglasses Racing win.
And that was a good time, but not as quick as his semifinals, but it was enough to get the job done.
For Adam Anderson, his 5th racing win this season, the 48th of his career, and 14 points going to Gravedigger in pursuit of the overall event championship. That is going to be very, very crucial. That 1 point difference already going to give Adam Anderson a point back when it comes to the season standings. Right now, let's go meet our racing winner, Adam Anderson, Gravedigger.
Adam, you were so fast in that semifinal round, and that gave you lane choice, pushing Neil over into the right lane because the left seemed so fast all night.
It really did. I felt comfortable over there, but I was honestly nervous because Neil, he looked pretty smooth and fast in the right lane, and he's been playing that trick on me all year. Those guys, they drive on the left-hand side of the truck, so I always try to throw him over there. So Neil, he knows, he feels like we're going to meet up in the finals. He'll stay in that right lane to practice all night long so we can battle it out, and he's got me a couple times, but today was a different story.
Yeah, great strategy coming into the weekend, picking up those points. I know it's very important for you in this race to the championship.
It really is. You know, last night we fell behind Neil Elliott, and we had a lot of mechanical issues, but that's behind us, man. I'm not going to thrive on what happened last night. The fans got an awesome show, but today's a different story. We're going to rock the house.
So Adam Anderson recovering from that broken third member and the Planetaries to get a racing win. So a great comeback for him. And here we go, more freestyle. It is Wolf's Head. Now on this series, we've seen Aaron Basil behind the wheel, but tonight it goes to the veteran, Roy Pridgeon.
It's so good to see Roy back in the truck. I mean, he's such a veteran of the whole sport, and he's such a fun guy to be around. And he drives great too. It's one of those things, he doesn't take a lot of risks. He makes sure that, you know, he goes hit to hit and puts a good, clean run on for the fans. But we'll see. I mean, this new Wolf's Head, it's got a little bit of edge on it. Maybe Roy will take a little bit more chances in freestyle.
Roy stepped away from full-time competition this year, but fills in for J.R. McNeil. He is a part of that team that includes the Ice Cream Man truck, Raisin Cane, FT1 Torque, and now this Wolf's Head motor oil truck. So J.R. McNeil has built an army of Monster Jam trucks, and Roy Pridgeon tonight, usually an Ice Cream Man, now in Wolf's Head.
I like what I'm seeing so far, man. He's not really steering clear of anything that is in his way. If it gets in his way, he's just hammering down and putting the loud pedal to the floor.
And that's what it's all about. I had a chance to tour with Roy Pridgeon behind the wheel of Ice Cream Man. He has been on Stadium Championship Series tours. He knows what it takes to win, and he's been able to get there in the past. So interesting to see what Roy Pridgeon can do now, called upon to drive Wolf's Head. He's put together a couple of nice jumps, nothing too fancy, nothing too crazy, but solid so far for Roy Pridgeon.
I think what's so great is that, you know, the creativity of all these Monster Jam trucks that are coming up now. I mean, it was, you know, 20 years ago, it was the basic pickup truck or the basic, you know, SUV that we were using, but now it's all these concept bodies. I mean, you have the hair on this truck that looks like it's flowing in the wind. I think it's great.
Absolutely looks incredibly cool on the track and off. And here goes Roy Pridgeon now trying to get a little more air. A bit of a smaller jump there for the Wolf's Head monster truck. And now trying to make something happen on the other side of the track. A nice drift turn coming back around into this freestyle obstacle. Another small jump over the freestyle ramp. Just trying to get to the other side of the track. Looking for something big from Roy Pridgeon. And there's a donut. Going to try to turn it into a cyclone maybe on the two wheels. Stays on the four. So a donut action when all else fails. Morgan just headed the donut.
Absolutely. Red light goes on. Roy knew what he had to do to fill his time, and that's what he's done to be able to get the good score.
So 6.386, good enough for second place for Roy Pridgeon now behind the wheel of Wolf's Head. There's a look at that donut that he capped off his freestyle run in. So a consistent run for Roy Pridgeon, and now we will take a look at Stephen Thompson in Earthshaker out of Hagerstown, Maryland, still looking for his first career stadium freestyle win, but he's flirted with scores in that 9.0 range. He did it in St. Louis in 2018, so it could be his day at any point. He knows what it takes to get a good run, and he's done it before.
And we talk about somebody that likes to take risks. Stephen is that guy. I was on tour with Stephen a couple years ago, and it's so awesome to watch him drive because he's constantly learning. He's doing the best that he can to put the best show possible on for the fans. And this match that he's had this season with Earthshaker, I think it fits his personality. perfect.
Absolutely, and the fans, this is what it's all about for them. You have to impress them. A good jump, gets a little sky wheelie, and slaps down the Earthshaker truck. 12,000 pounds with that G-force off the ramp can equal 96,000 pounds of pressure. How do you stay so comfortable inside these trucks?
Well, I think one thing that we could talk about is I think he's left that PTO on. The bed's all falling apart, but I mean, that's great. You know, that's the visual concept that you're going to get from the fans, that they absolutely think it's so cool that body parts are flying off. And Steven's just ragged edge, cross-threading. I think it's awesome, man.
Leaving a lot of that truck on the ground, going back around to the other side. The nice drift turn for Steven Thompson in Earthshaker. More of Earthshaker on the ground, and there is a big jump for Steven Thompson. That's what you gotta do to get those scores up.
The truck looks like it's leaning a little bit. He might have like a bent sway bar or something, but I mean, he really is swinging the truck into the turn pretty good. But I mean, all the cross-threading, you time. Oh boy. Unlucky, just ran out of room there, but it was a good run by Steven Thompson.
I tried to get the bicycle going, and as you said, just ran out of room. Steven Thompson in Earthshaker. Look at that score, moving him up into second, leaving that body out there. Another look at that failed attempt to a bicycle, but a great run, putting him in second place. Candace Jolly has not been without issues here in El Paso. More Monster Jam Freestyle up next. We're back at the home of the UTEP Miners, El Paso, Texas, for Stadium Championship Series 2. Candace Jolly looking on intently. She has not been without issues this weekend, and this is the original Superglue Corporation pit report. Earlier today, Leslie Mears explained a lot of the issues the drivers were having in this two-show event, and Candace Jolly has been right up there at the top of the list. Leslie, can you give us an update on the Monster Mutt Dalmatian?
Monster Mutt Dalmatian went out in the first round of racing and broke a steering ram. Lots of hydraulic fluid coming out of it. But as you can see, the guys working hard to get it fixed. All teams on hand to make sure she can make it out.
That's one of the things that makes Monster Jam stand out in motorsports, is even though it's a competition and everybody's trying to win, it's all hands on deck between teams and teammates when someone needs help.
Teamwork is definitely our #1 value in Monster Jam, and we all work hard. All the mechanics do such a great job at making sure all the Monster Jam trucks make it out for every event, and Candace's team just thrashed. She's out here, and I know she's ready to put down a heck of a run.
She's had a frustrating afternoon, but she is back and ready to go behind the wheel of Monster Mutt Dalmatian. The score to beat 8.589 from Bro Dozer Candace Jolly. One career freestyle win in San Antonio back in 2015, trying to make it #2 4 years later.
Well, it's always good to come out of some sort of issue, balance where the team is really thrashing, they're getting the adrenaline going, and because it gives you that edge when you go into freestyle. I know when I'm out there driving, I drive like I'm mad, and I hope Candace is going to really give the fans a great show, and that was a nice little cross thread there, a little wheelie down the backside. I like that.
Yeah, get some good air. That's how you got to get this thing started. If she's going to do something, now is the time before the clock ticks down to 0. Another sky wheelie attempt, gets a little bit of elevation on it, and now going to try again on the other side of the track. Candace Jolly and Monster Mutt Dalmatian turning around to make something happen.
And if you notice, this is a daytime show. The sunlight's shining in all different directions, and it could be really hard for Candace to see some of these hits, because I mean, you're getting the glare from the windshield, especially when the mechanics are wiping the windshield down. It puts swirl marks in the leg stand, and that can cause a massive glare. So it is hard, and she's doing a great job at hitting everything square as she can. But we got to start hanging it out there. These fans are ready to see something crazy.
This series has had quite a few mud shows as she gets another good jump there, but now they've got this dry Texas dirt. You mentioned the vision problems, but the dirt looks nice and clean for them to get a lot of air, and that is a jump that Candace Jolly needs in that Monster Mutt Dalmatian.
It's enough to knock that tail off, and hopefully that she's going to be putting on a good score for these fans, because they're all getting their smartphones out right now. I can see them all going to judgeszone.com, and they're going to try and log that thing in when this run is over.
She's putting together a string of consecutive, solid, successful jumps, and she's going back around that same ramp. She must like the way it's forming, because she goes back on the other side and does it again.
Well, one of the best things that you can see that Candace does is she's not scared of that loud pedal. She's going to make sure that she's giving the fans that illusion of that her truck is going super fast, and with a 7.077, that's good enough for 3rd place.
Yeah, has to be happy about that. Didn't even know she was going to be able to compete in freestyle. And here comes the black and green wrecking machine of Adam Anderson and Gravedigger, our racing winner. Still some more work to do before he catches Neil Elliott.
So coming into today's show, Adam had a little bit of, guess, a chip on his shoulder, you could say, because last night, breaking early in freestyle, that put him out a little bit earlier than where he wants to go. But, I mean, it's Gravedigger fashion. These fans know what they're going to see. They know that it's ragged edge. You're going to drive as hard as you can. And with Adam winning racing, he's got a good chance to win this overall.
You know, we've seen Adam Anderson overcome adversity over the years in his career. There doesn't seem like there's any situation where he can't make that Gravedigger truck run. He has 37 career freestyle wins, and that is an amazing job. That is a high jump of the year candidate. What a move for Adam Anderson and Gravedigger.
That's some good stuff, man. The momentum is coming. It's definitely Gravedigger style. Adam's got to let it hang out a little bit more as this time starts ticking down, because the fans are expecting that body to be ripped to shreds.
3 of those 37 wins have come this year on Stadium Championship Series 2, and he continues to sky it in Gravedigger. So this is what Adam Anderson needs. If he can double down with racing and freestyle, that will go a long way in catching Neil Elliott and getting his points lead back, and another high jump and a little slap wheelie at the end to put an exclamation point on it.
I love this style, man. Most of the time, Adam's driving around this course because it's such a loose dirt. A lot of rear steer and a lot of guiding with the front, and it makes for a great show. The fans are seeing all this momentum, and he's just driving it home into these jumps. Let's see if he's going to do the big cross thread. Yeah, love it.
Clears half the freestyle track in one jump. So Adam Anderson and Gravedigger making it happen. At World Finals 9, he became what at the time was the youngest World Finals champion in Monster Jam history. And look at that, skying it across the air for Gravedigger.
You couldn't put that any more perfect right there. That's what we call a grease. All of us drivers, we talk about landing on the backside of jumps so perfect. That is 100% a grease right there. I think the only thing that Adam is missing right now is a backflip, and I think this is where he's headed.
Adam Anderson going for the Monster Energy backflip ram. He gets it up, and he lands it, but Morgan, the light was red, and time had expired before he did the backflip. What is that going to do for your score?
Well, for us, the Team Gravedigger drivers, we don't care about that light, man. The biggest thing is that these fans leave happy, and Adam knew that the backflip is what they needed.
We have a new leader. It is Adam Anderson and Gravedigger. It is time for Inside Monster Jam.
We kind of had to redeem ourselves from last night. Freestyle didn't go as planned, and it was mechanical issues. So I felt like racing today, we knocked it out of the park. The racing win was for the crew, but freestyle today for Team Gravedigger was for the Monster Jam fans. We went out there, lit it up here in El Paso. They light up the house out here, and it's a great time, and I want to give it back to them. What they give to us, what I feed off of, I'm giving it to them.
Adam Anderson always about giving that energy right back to the fans. Your BKT Freestyle Top 5 has Gravedigger sitting pretty with 9.456. That is a great score for him, and that is going to be incredibly tough to beat as we continue the action here in El Paso. But up next, it is the Great Clips 2-Wheel Skills Challenge recap from Sun Bowl Stadium. This portion of Monster Jam is brought to you by Great Clips. Great Clips, it's gonna be great. This portion of Monster Jam is brought to you by Spin Master Toys. Real trucks, real action, Monster Jam. Welcome back to Monster Jam. Scott Jordan, Leslie Mears, Morgan Kane calling the action for you. Sun Bowl Stadium in West Texas. It has been an amazing afternoon. The weather is beautiful. The track is fantastic, and Adam Anderson is off to a great start. The Great Clips 2-Wheel Skills Challenge recap. Look at the bicycle, couldn't get it going and keep it up back on the hood.
It's tough here with the two-wheel competition. The way that the dirt is, it's a little bit dry. I think some of the drivers are having a tough time because they can't really figure out how grippy it actually is. And it's put a couple people on their lid.
That trick from Rosalie Raymer and Wildflower, a sidewinder in the desert. And look at Diesel Dave and Bro Dozer skying it, lands it on the back 2 tires, and kept it there for the fans. They were up on their feet, and now a popper, a nose wheelie gets it going. Diesel Dave, what a great run in the 2-Wheel Skills Challenge.
So the nose wheelie, I guess you could call it the moonwalk too, is kind of taking this sport by storm. Everybody loves it. The fans love it. The control that you have. I mean, it's constantly, you're going from first to second, reverse to first, and then you have, you know, your right foot on the gas, left foot on the brake. I mean, it's constantly, you know, you're trying to make sure that you keep this balance, but the fans absolutely go crazy over it.
And this is the guy that has done it so many times this season, Neil Elliott in Max D, that controlled moonwalk. trying to keep that balance. He's so good at it, just sits there almost like he stops time when he is in this competition.
And when you talk about time, it is one of those things where you only have 30 seconds when you're up in this. If you don't go up within 30 seconds, I mean, it's going to deduct points off of your score.
And if one time wasn't enough, he was able to do it again, and that was more than enough to give Neil Elliott and Max D the Great Clips 2-Wheel Skills Challenge lead and the win, and he kept it up there for an insane amount of time. You could literally stop your watch and tell the time of day by the amount of time Neil Elliott, with that moonwalk back up over the freestyle ramp, can hang on up there in Max D. So here are the point standings from the Great Clips 2-Wheel Skills Challenge. Neil gets another point back on Adam Anderson, a few back actually, as Adam Anderson drops down to 5th with that 8.214. So for Neil Elliott, his 8th Great Clips 2-Wheel Skills Challenge win already this season. He is down on the track celebrating. He needed this. This has been his competition all season long. Let's hear from Neil Elliott.
For you, Neil Elliott, it's been all about consistency this year on your climb back here to extend this points lead out. And so how are you doing it? How are you using your strategies to stay so consistent out here?
And I got a saying that I've been using for a long time: I'd rather be lucky than good any day. But no, we're coming out here and we've been getting lucky enough to get paired up on the opposite side of the bracket as Adam in racing. So as long as I can make it to the final against him, or somebody knocks him out early, I'll be doing okay, because he's only going to get 1 point on me at a time. If I can knock him out earlier in the rounds, even better yet. But we've been consistent in this 2-wheel, you know, and he's been trying that same move over and over and over. Once he figures it out, I'm probably going to be in trouble. But with any luck, it holds off to the end of this series, and we get that automatic bid into the Monster Jam World Finals.
And that's what it's all about, getting that automatic bid to World Finals 20 in Orlando, Florida. Get your tickets now and join us at Camping World Stadium. Here's Eric Swanson in Obsessed with a nice jump to start his freestyle run.
I've had the chance this season to run a couple shows with Eric. We ran San Diego and Anaheim, and he gets better and better every show. I mean, he's definitely a veteran to the sport. He's been around for a while, and earlier this season he actually took his first racing win this season from Adam Anderson, and it was great. You know, it's good to see the success come, because all these guys work super hard, and they all just want to put a great show on for the fans.
Eric Swanson has 2 freestyle wins in 38 appearances since debuting in 2015, both of those wins in his home state of California. He gets some nice jumps in early on his freestyle run, but the afternoon will come to an end for Eric Swanson. That back left tire just can't hold it up. And here is J.R. McNeil in Exterminator.
JR has always been somebody that comes out of the gate hard and can fill his freestyle run, and definitely puts a lot of wow factors into some of these freestyles. It's exciting to be out here and watching him with this Exterminator.
He's another driver in this series looking for their first freestyle stadium win in their career. It is yet to happen for J.R. McNeil and Exterminator. I mentioned earlier with Roy Pridgeon in Wolf's Head, the Army, the garage that J.R. McNeil has built from the ground up. He built this truck and now has kept adding onto it, now with 4 under his umbrella and in his pit area. So J.R. McNeil establishing himself in the world of Monster Jam.
Well, he definitely has a balance as an owner, and he definitely uses the same balance while he's on the freestyle track. He definitely wants to try and fill his time, and he always does such a good job. That's why he's always about middle pack in the freestyle. He sets a good score, and we'll see what the fans think. I mean, they're all on judgeszone.com with their phones to make sure that these drivers are getting the great scores that they're going to be able to get.
J.R. McNeil out of Paisley, Florida, not too far down the road from Orlando. So J.R. hoping to be at World Finals and seeing you there as well. And he gets a nice jump off the ramp, a little slapping it down action on that track, and to come across just misses the Monster Energy backflip ramp. So a close call and a nice turn of events for J.R. McNeil getting out of the way.
I like this. In his run, he's getting a little bit deeper in the time, so he's going to start driving a little bit harder. This is what we're talking about as being able to step it up and present that wow factor to the fans. He's just doing what he can to make sure that his time gets filled, and this truck looks great. Stirring up a lot of dust, and his signature is always going to hit a donut in every single run that he does.
And I like this strategy. He is just literally going over the obstacles, climbing over the ramps, making some jumps, getting some wheelies, and that is all you have to do when some of these other drivers are taking the risks and ending up on the hood or not finishing their run. It is guys like J.R. McNeil that will get their freestyle run in because they're doing small, consistent things, and so a solid run for the Exterminator.
And JR, solid run. 8th place, I think that's a little bit of tough love from the fans. He is a little bit later. I guess they're expecting to see some more crashes, but that's the beauty of the sport. Everybody judges in the fans.
The BKT Freestyle Top 5 still has Gravedigger sitting on top with a 9.456. Dozer behind him and Earthshaker in 3rd. Still more freestyle to come, but right now, Great Clips Mohawk Warrior having some issues. It's the America's Best Contacts and Eyeglasses. Look in.
Who's ready for America's Best Contacts and Eyeglasses Look In?
Here with John Sweeney, crew chief of Mohawk Warriors. So take us through that last round when you were watching up top. John, you know, Bryce seemed to be in it the whole way. So what do you think happened as he rounded that turn?
Well, it looked like he was having a little issue with the rear steer, and we were trying to figure out what it was. It kind of jumped on him when he hit the landing, and it kicked the truck sideways, sent him out of control, but we got it fixed. We'll get him back out there.
So John Sweeney, a very talented crew chief, but not the usual hands that Bryce Kenny has back there. The frustration is mounting. You can see it in his eyes. And we're going to come back with more freestyle next. Monster Jam Freestyle well underway in El Paso, Texas. Sun Bowl Stadium been a great home for us this afternoon, and the Great Clips Mohawk Warrior is heading back out to the track. So the issues that have plagued Bryce Kenny and the entire team look like they've been fixed, and he's ready for freestyle.
Well, there's hundreds of parts in these Monster Jam trucks, and the mechanics do such a great job at studying in the shop which tools they should be able to grab to make these changes really quick. And Bryce has done such a great job all season to try and keep them on their toes and really give the fans what they want to see.
And Bryce Kenny had a lot of expectations coming into this series. I think he set the bar very high for himself. It's been a tough up and down season for him thus far. He's had some bad moments and some good ones. 3 career freestyle wins, including one this year in Oakland. When it comes to racing, only 3 drivers in this series as he lands and tried to stick the landing there, gets it on 2 tires, and now back on 4. Only 3 drivers more with winning records in this series. Neil Elliott, Adam Anderson, and Bryce Kenny.
Well, Bryce does a good job at putting himself into some messed up situations. You know, he really sends it into certain angles that might not put him into the best situation, but he does a good job at really trying to save the truck and get it out of it. And most of the time, it creates these wow factors, which is what the fans want to see, and you get great scores from that.
And on this show, Bryce Kenny talks about the wow moments a lot. A nice wheelie, gets it on the nose, and back down safely. What a save for Bryce Kenny. That could have been disastrous, and he lands it and nails that trick off the freestyle ramp.
That was some quick reaction time, and I really think that, it looks like he's got a rough break in the front. That's a shame. He had a good run going, a little bit of wow factor, but tough breaks, that happens, man. They're mechanical. Things like that are going to happen, parts fatigue.
The frustration continues for Bryce Kenny, the Great Clips Mohawk Warrior, but a nice score for him moves him up to 3rd. Some good jumps for him on this run. They slap wheelie, back up over the freestyle ramp on the front 2 tires, and lands it. Let's go down to Leslie with Bryce Kenny.
Awesome job, man.
So Bryce, you told me earlier that, you know, you felt like you kind of had to put this truck in its place. You know, do you feel like you were able to accomplish that during your run?
I feel like that we're going to go 9 rounds with this truck over the rest of the season. That was round 4 and 5. I think it maybe got a good solid uppercut on me, and I feel like I put a nice uppercut on that. So we're just going to have to wait till Seattle. We're just going to keep fighting. You know, our storyline is one of overcoming adversity this season. That's not the storyline we would have wanted, but that's not going to stop us. It's going to be just that much sweeter when we get on the other side of these challenges.
Last night in this stadium, Neil Elliott won 2 competitions on his way to the overall event championship, but did not win freestyle, so a chance at redemption to win the one that got away from him last night. Neil Elliott, Max D, going to start off with a nice jump, swinging around to the other side of the track. A big jump for Neil in Max D as he's trying to make something happen. Adam Anderson sitting right behind him in the standings, the score to beat. Leslie caught up with Neil earlier today. Let's hear from Neil Elliott.
You know, you've kind of been right there all along, and you finally took that 7-point lead, you know. So what does it mean to finally kind of take that lead over Adam?
It feels good to be out front, you know, but like everybody else says, it's a bullseye on your back, and I honestly don't think 7 points is enough. You know, this is a long road. We got quite a few shows left, and it's going to be tough to keep that lead.
Morgan, I'm not sure that any lead would be enough when Adam Anderson, a Gravedigger, is right behind you.
Yeah, when you're such a big competitor in a sport like this where anything can happen, you're never comfortable at the top. Honestly, like Neil said, that bullseye's on your back and everybody's shooting for you. It doesn't matter if you're in 6th place or 2nd place, you're the man to beat. And if you're in the lead, you got to make sure you stretch it as long as you can.
Skies that one off the rim. 28 career freestyle wins for Neil Elliott, but only one on this series. Way back in the beginning in Orlando, and that is a jump for Max D. Gets a little bicycle on the landing. So that is a move. That is something that you can make that happen and get the fans on your side. You can beat Adam Anderson in this competition.
And this is Neil Elliott textbook Max D fashion. Anytime you're in the stadium with Neil Elliott and Max D, you're guaranteed that you're going to get a show. This guy is such a wheelman, and he just sends Max D to the moon every single jump.
And sent another jump right there. 11 World Finals championship for Max D. None with Neil Elliott behind the wheel. Going to try to change that. And the Monster Energy backflip ram for Max D. A nice move on the part of Neil Elliott. The acceleration was there. The full circle on that backflip lands it solid. So that is what you need if you're Neil Elliott and you're trying to catch up to Adam Anderson. And another jump goes sideways and gets it down. What a save.
Well, that's one of the things that the fans are going to love to see is there's nothing better than a good backflip. And Neil just nailed that thing.
A textbook backflip for Neil Elliott and Max D, but it was the jump after the backflip. Another wow moment where he skied Max D through the air. Here's a couple of jumps for him, and he is going to get in 2nd place, 9.126 for Neil Elliott and Max D. Not quite enough to catch Adam Anderson, and Gravedigger still sits in 2nd place.
This is the science of Monster Jam, fueled by Monster Energy.
Father-daughter team, Kelvin and Rosalie Raymer, work hand in hand together to tune these trucks. How does this work between the two of you? You know, between the old school where you're looking at heat guns and you're looking at spark plugs, and now we're reading graphs and looking at charts and computer acquisition data to kind of tune things. But how does that discussion work? Kelvin, I'll let you start.
Well, originally I started out, I'd pull a spark plug. A lot you can tell from a spark plug. And you watch the engine run, you can see the exhaust coming out. And then I got a temperature gun. I go to each cylinder and I can see the temperature and I can tell what each one's doing. And then over years you learn to listen. So now I can take that, then she can take her chart and we can compare what I'm seeing and what she's seeing on that chart. Yeah. Communicating back and forth what she sees, what I'm seeing, and she can actually make adjustments really fast.
And for you, you know, do you get to have a lot of say, you know, looking at your charts and graphs, or does, you know, Dad's word always the final word?
At first, it was always Dad's word is the final word, but, you know, getting into this after 5 years of working with this electronic fuel injection system, I really know the numbers in and out. I can look at a run on the computer and see where something looks off. That's where I get to come into play now with a little bit more knowledge on the subject, and I can kind of make the tweaks I want to.
Every once in a while, I'll point out that I think the computer's wrong, and we'll find a bad sensor, a bad connection or something, so that the old school listening can catch the sensors when they act up.
You know, it really brings out your true engineer on one-off machines like monster trucks. Everything, every step of the way, if something goes wrong on this engine, you can't always just see it on the computer or see it on the truck. You're going step by step and kind of methodically checking each thing that could be wrong until you get to a solution, and then that just makes you that much stronger for next time something else goes wrong.
Here's a look at our BKT Freestyle top 5. They've been running 1 and 2 for most of the season, and they're 1 and 2 here. It is Gravedigger and Max D in the top 2 spots, but Adam Anderson, the run of the night, 9.456. This portion of Monster Jam is brought to you by America's Best Contacts and Eyeglasses. It's not just a better deal, it's America's best. We are back in El Paso. It's Stadium Championship Series 2, and it's Monster Jam Freestyle. Adam Anderson, Gravedigger, your current leader, but Rosalie Raymer and Wildflower are going to try to change it, and sends it right off the bat and skies that Wildflower machine through the air.
Rosalie is definitely not scared to send Wildflower to the sky, but she looks like she's got some problems going on with the mechanical side of things. Only one jump, 4.270, puts her in 11th.
Definitely not what she had hoped to accomplish when she set out on the track. Your BKT Freestyle top 5 remains the same with just one Monster Jam truck left to perform. Let's go to Inside Monster Jam with Scott Buto, El Toro Loco Ice.
So for you this year, it's a little different. You have a different crew chief. And so how does feeling comfortable with your crew chief and having a lot of faith in him help you out on the track?
I cannot put enough emphasis on the camaraderie that we have as a team. David Stansel, as the crew chief for El Toro Loco Ice, has been nothing but stellar. He's had that truck on point every single weekend, and that's all you can ask for. He's in my ear every single run, and so that has helped me all along and has brought my confidence to another level.
We all know the important relationship between a crew chief and a Monster Jam truck driver can make or break a season. But Morgan, how special is that relationship when it comes to performing?
Well, Scott hit it perfect. I mean, you're only as good as what your crew chief's going to let you be. I mean, because if he's putting the time in and making sure every bolt and every nut on the truck is tight, you can do your best and put a great show on for the fans. But when you have that chemistry, it's just something that you're able to create and drive harder every weekend.
And there is a jump for El Toro Loco Ice, part of the new Fire and Ice collection of Monster Jam trucks, and Scott Buteau behind the wheel of El Toro Loco for the first time in his career, and off to a nice start on that first jump. And there's another one for El Toro Loco, and the horns are coming off, Morgan.
Scott's always been driving hard as he can, and he's been in the sport for a long time, so he knows what the fans want to see. They want to see the carnage of just body parts flying off, and Scott always gives them that, but he's got a signature move that everybody in Monster Jam knows what he's all about. He makes sure that he sets the bar, and I think what we know is coming up at the end of this run if this truck holds together.
A bit of a career resurgence this season for Scott Buteau. 3 freestyle wins this series, 18 for his career. It's what he's known for, and it's jumps like that as he clears the bus in the middle of that track that he's going to get El Toro Loco Ice back around for another pass. He is going for the Monster Energy backflip ramp, starts backing it in slowly and gets around the acceleration, and he is going to nail another backflip. We've said it so many times, so consistent when it comes to that backflip ramp.
No, he's perfect every time, and the fans here, they love El Toro Loco, and it's nothing better than to see the fans standing up on their feet, cheering for Scott Buteau and El Toro Loco Ice.
A lot has been made about that rivalry between Neil Elliott and Adam Anderson at the top of the standings, but Scott Buteau has sat in third for most of the season, and a nice jump for El Toro Loco Ice. And if one of the top two should falter, Scott Buteau could be the ultimate opportunist and take advantage. He is not out of it yet in El Toro Loco Ice.
Well, I think anytime you're a driver of a Monster Jam truck, your adrenaline goes out the roof when you do a backflip, especially when the fans are standing up cheering for you. It's a great opportunity to make sure that you're doing the best that you can.
And that is going to conclude the run for El Toro Loco Ice and Scott Buteau with some nice moves. There is another shot of the backflip. A perfect landing for him. 8.997 is going to sit him right where he is in the standings in third place for freestyle. Your freestyle winner is Adam Anderson in Gravedigger, getting those 14 points. But right underneath is Neil Elliott and Max D. And Neil talked about that. If Adam's going to beat him, he'd like to be right there. So it's just a 1 point difference between the two. 3 competitions in the books this afternoon in El Paso for Stadium Championship Series 2. We are going to crown our winner on the track. Let's go down to Leslie with Adam Anderson.
For Adam Anderson tonight, it was about you and your crew getting a little bit of redemption after you fought the truck all day yesterday. How good does it feel for you guys to take home this freestyle victory?
To walk out of here with a freestyle win, it's ecstatic. Coming here to El Paso, these fans are always on top of the world, so these guys busted their butt last night, stayed up late, completely rebuilt the rear end of Gravedigger. We came back out, we dominated, we came out on top, and it felt awesome.
Big freestyle afternoon for Adam Anderson in Gravedigger, but look at the overall event point standings. Neil Elliott is going to take the win with 40 points over the 3 competitions. Adam Anderson just 2 points under him, so a little more ground gained in the season point standings, Morgan.
Well, each point matters, and during the season, you got to make sure that you're doing the best that you can to get all the points possible. And with Neil being able to get 2 more on Adam, that's crucial, and it puts him a little bit further ahead.
Let's hear from Neil Elliott.
So Neil, tonight, that freestyle victory just on the tip of your fingers, and it just slipped away from you. What's it going to take for you to take that home?
Man, I don't know how much this old truck's got left in it. Flat back tire, front wheels caved in. We just put it on after the last show, but we're just going to come out here and keep doing what we're doing. Adam had an awesome run, but we still come out with the overall event championship and still in the points lead. So what more can a guy ask for on this weekend?
Yeah, and that's true. And, here's the thing for you guys. You have a weekend off to kind of let this all settle in, and your stretch of 2 show weekends is over. So, what's your strategy going into the home stretch with only 3 shows left?
That means they got 2 weeks to get this bad boy in 100%, and they can do it overnight. Obviously, we come out here, we put on one heck of a show last night. Still got that second place in freestyle, but, you know, put on a really good run. They put the truck back together. We got to come back out here and done the same thing again tonight. So, you know, I'm just trying to keep this points lead right now. And these guys are keeping the truck in good shape. So, you know, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm going to do, and they keep doing what they're going to do, and I think we can stay on top.
And with that overall event championship, Neil Elliott and Max D now increases his points lead to 9 over Adam Anderson and Gravedigger. Scott Buteau at El Toro Loco Ice and Diesel Dave and Bro Dozer are still in it with well over 300 points. 3 events remain in Stadium Championship Series 2. That 9-point lead might as well be won with Adam Anderson right on your tail. The series championship is coming down to the wire. So a big day for Max D's. Neil Elliott extends his point lead over Adam Anderson and Gravedigger to 9. Now with a week off for Stadium Championship Series 2, Adam Anderson not guaranteed a spot in World Finals due to a smaller field. That's a lot to think about for a former World Finals champion.
Well, with the weekend off, he can really sit down and focus on getting back in his groove, being consistent, and really that's what it's going to take to get to the World Finals.
Get your tickets to World Finals 20 in Orlando, May 10th and 11th. Find us on social media at Monster Jam. For Morgan Kane and Leslie Mears, I'm Scott Jordan. We'll see you next time on Monster Jam.